When the FIFA World Cup 2026 kicks off, the world will be focused on goals, players, and outcomes on the field. But behind every match is an invisible factor that can determine whether athletes perform at their peak and whether fans stay healthy. It's called environmental hygiene. Mass gatherings like the World Cup bring millions of people into close contact across shared spaces, creating known risks for infectious disease outbreaks, including norovirus, which has a documented history at large sporting events. Today, I'm pleased to welcome a infectious disease expert and a medical doctor who are going to talk about what's coming up with the sporting event and what, as an industry, we can do to make it a safer space. Dr. Gavin McGregor Skinner with ISSA, Dr. Rebecca Bascom, we welcome you both. Gavin, I think you said there's going to be some 5 million possibly people at this. That's a lot of sniffles and coughs and germs that could spread around. Let's get your thoughts. What's going on with this event? What could happen and why do we need to pay attention?
Yes, Jeff, the FIFA World Cup 2026 begins on June 11th, 2026. 48 national teams, 104 matches, over 5 million spectators in 16 stadiums across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. But grasp that, just think about this. Those people have to stay somewhere. And I just learnt the other day that the Croatia national team is going to stay just down the road from where I live. And again, it's not near a stadium, but they're staying here near the airport. So it's really important that from the cleaning industry perspective, we look across every facility, every building that these professional elite athletes are going to access, and we ensure, as well as the spectators that are coming over 5 million, that we clean and disinfect based on risk-based strategies for gastrointestinal illnesses, especially norovirus, and any other infectious disease, viruses and bacteria that we know can happen in mass gathering events like big sporting events like this one.
These are the best of the best coming to our country, and they depend on us having controlled environments that support their respiratory function. Boy, do they have to run. Neurologic processing, boy, does a footballer have to be coordinated. Hydration, do you know how much they sweat and how much fluid can be lost? And also to be able to recover and run across the field. These are very important functions that allow them to compete at the top of their game, and the environment has to be right for them to do that.
We actually worked together on a project called Making Safer Choices, which represents the whole value chain: manufacturers, distributors, building service contractors, facility managers, health and safety medical teams, on how to create indoor spaces by focusing on air, surfaces, and water, and doing it and cleaning based on risk using chemicals in cleaning products that have the lowest risk to both the services and the health. So we look for safer chemicals, and for that we have a community of practice. Now, the challenge we have for gastrointestinal illnesses, which we have over 2,500 norovirus outbreaks alone in the US just last year, the majority of those outbreaks, people went, I don't know how to do this. And they cleaned just like they normally clean. You have to clean and disinfect a very special way to inactivate or destroy the norovirus, which can last on surfaces, hard surfaces, soft surfaces, and don't forget the laundry, Jeff, for up to 2 weeks and remain infectious.
12 to 48 hours after exposure, after infection, it causes dehydration, coming out both directions massively fast. It resolves in 1 to 3 days, but if you're trying to compete and you have that kind of major gastrointestinal illness, you are on the ropes. Needs to be handled from a prevention. And Gavin, I think you were telling me about a team from Finland where the virus got them.
Yeah, really important, Becky, that we understand that cleaning in large professional sporting events like the FIFA World Cup or the Winter Olympics. It's not housekeeping. Cleaning is part of public health infrastructure. It's critical to athlete performance and fan experience. So just recently at the 2026 Winter Olympics, there was a hockey game was postponed and rescheduled between Finland and Canada because of a norovirus outbreak at that game. And we know from the FIFA World Cup in Germany in 2006, in Japan in 2011, in Qatar in 2022, there were outbreaks of gastrointestinal illness, that's vomiting and diarrhea, caused by bacteria, norovirus, and had significant impacts on those events. And again, we're talking about cleaning companies, cleaning professionals being able to clean up vomit and diarrhea and all those different surfaces and do it in a way that makes it safe again.
Dr. Becky, put on your stethoscope and tell us, from your perspective, what's the solution? Oh, you have it on. Fantastic.
It's just in the hospital this morning.
So when you hear all this talk and you think about what could go wrong at this event, what's your advice? What would you tell people watching the program right now? Give us an alert.
My alert would be let's take this on as a community, because across the value chain, the people that make the cleaning chemicals, the people that send them around, the people that have facilities that need to be cleaned, the people that do the cleaning, all of these people need to come together so we have best practices, so we are prepared for these fabulous events and prepared to be able to respond to an outbreak and to restore safety to the community so that this event and these competitions can continue at the highest level.
One thing that we noticed during the pandemic was hand sanitizer and hand washing practices. I understand that that way of approach may not work in this situation. Gavin, tell us about that. And
Yes,
then,
Jeff, I want everyone to understand that hand sanitizer knowledge and use is so important for norovirus control. The US Center for Disease Control, the CDC, states for norovirus, you must wash hands well with soap and water. They also state that hand sanitizer that is alcohol based alone does not work on norovirus. So you've got to use other types of hand sanitizers like hypochlorous acid hand sanitizer or other hand sanitizers that are effective against norovirus based on their active ingredients. And this is going to be the challenge in large sporting events with all these teams, all these over 5 million people setting up hand washing stations with soap and water and maintaining them, but having everyone understand if there are norovirus outbreaks, and there were a lot last year, over 2,500 in the US, if you use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer, it's not going to work.
So what you need to do, you need to belly up to the sink, you need to moisten your hands, you need to get the soap, you need to work it around. You can sing a little song to yourself so you stay there for a while. Then you rinse well, and then you can shake your hands and dry off your hands. What you can't do is put the alcohol sanitizer on your belt loop and grab a squirt as you're heading out to the game. That won't work.
what song do you recommend?
You know, I've been doing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star since I was a kid.
That's a good one. Gavin, wrap it up for us today. What are some resources that people can use as they listen to this alert?
Really important for everyone to understand. The FIFA World Cup 2026 is going to be a fantastic tournament, but when you are cleaning, visible cleaning, Jeff, is not evidence. Cleaning without measurement is guessing. So start measuring the effectiveness of cleaning, start measuring the value of clean, start showing that the surfaces you actually cleaned are clean through measurements. Now, understand that gastrointestinal illness has historically happened at these large sporting events. Norovirus, it's very contagious. Norovirus is highly resilient. It can remain infectious on hard surfaces, soft surfaces, laundry for up to 2 weeks, and even sometimes longer. Now, Jeff, the US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, recommends risk-based environmental hygiene strategies for high-density environments with increased focus on ventilation, surface cleaning and disinfection, and testing of those surfaces, and targeted disinfection as required on those high touch surfaces. The challenge we have, Jeff, is that this is not assumed knowledge. This is learned knowledge. You have to learn it, train it, understand it. The federal government, through the Environmental Protection Agency, has what's called List G. This is a list of over nearly 300 disinfectant products that are used to inactivate or destroy norovirus. You have to know that all those products have different active ingredients, and you have to know the health and safety for the worker, the health and the safety for the surface, the safety for anyone that goes in and uses those spaces, those indoor spaces after you clean. There's a lot of training and education to be done, Jeff, unfortunately, before June 11th.